And today we are taking up one by one different ways of drawing perspective. So today's topic is one point perspective, one method. So there are several methods in each of these perspective drawings. So today one of the simple methods I'm going to address you. See, in this image you see on the screen, there are human figures. And there is just one line drawn. I'm sure you understand that line is called eye level. And in fact, if you look very carefully at the graphic human figures, all of them have got the same eye level. That is a horizon line. So eye level is the horizon we have been talking about in the previous classes. That concept is very clear with this image here. Eye level is the same for all, but those who are closer to you appear to look big. Those who are far away from you, human figures look small. So this is one very simple rule to be followed whenever you do even sketching, outdoor sketching, where there are a lot of people around, landscape sketching, whatever you do, if you have to understand what is the horizon. And once you decide the horizon, it will when you draw, it will tell you what kind of a view you are drawing. So we'll look at what kind of views are drawn by putting the horizon in different levels in the frame of vision or cone of vision. So what is one point perspective? It is a mathematical way of creating illusion of space. So when you draw a perspective on a paper, what you have created is an illusion of space, but in a very realistic manner if you follow a mathematical way of doing it. The first type of perspective that you will learn is called one point perspective, in which there is only one vanishing point. There can be other types of perspectives such as 2 point, 3 point and 4 point perspective, which we will discuss in the future classes. But today let us take up the simplest way of drawing a perspective, which is called one point perspective. So here again, one example of one point perspective, cubes shown as a one point perspective. You can see the cubes are flying cubes. There are people standing and their eye level and the eye level of or horizon for all the cubes is the same. So if you draw that line, eye level or horizon line, it passes through the eyes of all these people standing. And what you see on the left are 6 cubes. The 3 above are above the eye level of the people here, and 2 of them are below the eye level of the people here. And 1 is at the eye level. So the one cube which is drawn at eye level, you can't see the top or bottom of the cube. But the ones which are above eye level, you can see the bottom of all the cubes, and ones which are below your eye level or eye level of these human beings, you are seeing the top of the cube. So you must draw this. Try to visualize this. Remember this. You can add more cubes if you want, but draw it up. You can see the eye level is almost drawn in the middle of the paper here, middle of the slide. So in your sketchbook, you can draw an eye level line first, and then try to visualize how cubes in different position on your page will look above eye level, below eye level, and at eye level. Also try to draw human figures like this. So here, this is a very simple graphic, geometrically drawn example of what exactly is one point perspective drawing. This looks like a room, but this need not be a room. This looks like two walls on both the sides, one ceiling and one floor. So, but this is called a perspective grid, one point perspective grid. You can create this kind of grids. They are also downloadable from websites. But it's better that you learn to create this using different eye level or horizon. So because this you can put under your tracing paper or any other paper and use this to draw correct perspective for practice. So this is called one point perspective grid, which is created to scale and proportion, which can be used for both interior perspective as well as exterior perspective. This is something which you should create methodically using 6 square, T square, and on your drafting table you can create. And there are several types of perspective grids that you can create, which I'll show you now. See, this is one type of perspective grid, single point perspective grid, in which there is a vanishing point and eye level. But notice that the eye level is at the close to the bottom, close to the floor. That is a low eye level, very low eye level. Generally, this kind of eye levels are called as worm's eye view, or eye level at below ordinary human's eye levels. It's called worm's eye view. And you can see a lot of numbers mentioned there, 1, 1, 1, 1 everywhere on the screen. This 1 represents a unit dimension of the grid which is shown. All these grids which are staying in perspective are actually square grids. But a square grid in perspective will look like this. The square at the extreme end will look smaller. The square which is closer to you will appear bigger. So here, this is something drawn as a perspective grid using square matrix. You can draw this with eye level at the close to the bottom. So for convenience, I have marked 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 5 ones, that is units on the vertical wall on the left. So you can see that this eye level is actually 1 unit above the ground and at your eye level, whatever eye level you want. The horizon is just 1 unit above. So in reality, if it is 1 meter, that's what you see. It could be any dimension, but this is eye level at 1 meter from ground level, which is a low eye level, which can also be called worm's eye view, creation of worm's eye view as 1 point perspective. So this is a grid which you can create. Now you see this eye level is shifted by 1 more unit. It's slightly at 2 meter level. The eye level is at 2 meter level from the ground floor. So the whole view changes, vista changes. Now this eye level is at 3 meter eye level. So you can see how the view changes when you shift the eye level from 1 meter level to 2 meter level to 3 meter level. And this is eye level at 1, 2, 3, 4th meter. So that means this is more like looking at it from above ground. You are not standing on the ground level, but you are actually somewhere up in the sky, let us say. So you must try to draw all these 5 types of perspective grids methodically using your T-square and set square. And you will notice that the true dimension is at the outermost square, outermost frame. This is a frame. You can see the outermost frame which is closest to you. On that, you mark whatever scale you want to use, 5 centimeter equal to 1 meter or 6 centimeter equal to 1 meter, and mark equal grids, equal points. And when you take those points and project them to meet the vanishing point, you will get the perspective of that grid. You see, first you draw only, you draw the outer frame first, divide it into equal parts, as if you are going to divide it into a square grid, then produce the points to the vanishing point, and you will get a very good square perspective grid and the appropriate eye level horizon. So all these perspective grids you have to learn to draw using set square, T-square, etc. in your sketchbook, or you can do it on different sheets, maybe A3 size sheets, so that this grids can be used anytime in future for you to create perspective using tracing paper or rough butter sheets, etc. So preserve these perspective grids, 4, 5 types of perspective grids. Once you understand perspective grid, you try to draw on those cubic grids, put a tracing paper on your perspective grid, and try to draw cubes in different positions on different grids. And you will get this kind of very interesting views. And if you can visualize well, you will also be able to draw the physiography of shadows of the cubes. It can be cubes, it can be different shapes, but start with cubes or rectangular pipette, whatever, stuck on the ground or on the side, etc. Ceiling, you leave alone the ceiling. So let us try and understand both the walls on the left and right and the floor level on which the perspective grid is made first. And you are using that grid to construct quick perspectives of objects in space.